where guests find common ground through uncommon conversations. Politics, religion, finances, all the topics your grandmother told you not to discuss with friends. And now, your host, Matthew Dowling, and today's guests on Commonalities.
Well, hello, and thank you for joining us on another episode of Commonalities. This is actually episode 20, so we are 20 in now to the show. I apologize. I did have a new show on Tuesday of this week, but you were hearing the best of for the past week or so. I've been a little under the weather, and so I apologize for that, but we're back up and running. My guest today is a good friend of mine and one of the sponsors of our program, Mayor Bill Gerke. Mayor Gerke, thanks for joining us here today.
Well, thanks for having me, Matt, and glad to see that you're doing much better.
Well, you know, we on this program talk politics at all different levels. In fact, it's not just politics we talk about. We say at the beginning of the show, we talk about politics, religion, and finances, all the things your grandmother told you not to talk about. And that's what we do here. But today we're going to talk about government that is closest to you, the people. And sometimes that is where the most amount of change in your life can be made. People make a big deal out of what's happening in the United States Senate or in Congress or even in the State House. But when it comes down to brass tacks, the fact that your garbage is picked up on time, the fact that your parks are clean, the fact that your roads are taken care of, those are the things that we see each and every day. And those are the things that municipal government, like the City of Uniontown, are responsible. So I wanted to have you on the program today to talk a little bit about some exciting things that are happening. But before we go there, Bill, I've known you for a long time, and I know that you are a major Uniontown Red Raider basketball fan, and they're playing tonight. So I wanted to get your insight on our Red Raiders and what you think will happen, how you think Coach K will do, and how's that game going to turn out for us?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball, Matt, but I've seen Uniontown play probably 3/4 of their games this year. They're well coached, well-disciplined team. They're going up against a tough opponent tonight, but I think at this time of year, they're all tough opponents. So hopefully they can pull out a win tonight. I've talked to the coach this morning. He said he has his team ready to go. And I think everybody in the community, we're all hoping that Uniontown wins tonight along with Laurel Highlands, because that sets up a showdown next Monday night. I think everybody in the city will go to see that game. So we're wishing all the best to Coach K and his staff and his team.
Well, we have Bill over in the producer's chair, and Bill, I guess you have a mic over there. What's your prediction for the outcome of tonight's game?
A lot of people will be watching our live stream on the WMBS Facebook page. That's my prediction.
It has amazed me. I watched the live stream of both of the Uniontown Laurel Highlands games, and I've been following basketball more than I normally do because I have some clients that wanted to make sure that we highlight some basketball information on their social media accounts. It's one of the things that my company does is we manage social media for small businesses and political candidates, people like that. And you guys have reached the 2,000 watcher mark on Facebook, which is simply just astonishing to me that you have all of those people crammed into the gym, and then you have 2,000 people that are logged on to their phones or their computers. And, as many of us know who follow live stream, generally statistics say that for every viewer that you see on a live stream, you have 3.5 people that are watching, because people watch as families or as groups. So simply thousands of people are tuning in. Maybe they like to hear the sound of Brian Morozak's voice, I'm not sure. But they're definitely
that's it, by the way.
That's what it is. But they are definitely watching our Red Raiders and the Laurel Highlands Mustangs and our local teams here. And high school sports are so very important. And Mayor, I think you would agree with me, because high school sports not only give an athletic outlet to the young people that play them, but they keep our young people off of our streets. And if they're off of our streets, they stay out of trouble. And so I think there's a huge benefit to the community to have not only high school sports, but good high school sports at that. Would you agree?
Absolutely, and you can see that, and the community, it helps the community also. The community gets behind them, and as I've always said, I guess it's 3.5 years now I've been mayor, and what my goal has been, and it'll continue to be, is to bring the community together through whatever venue or avenue that we pick. But that's a good way of bringing the community together. I've talked to people that are going to the game tonight, but there's a lot of people, like you and Bill had mentioned, that they're going to watch it on live stream on WMBS. But the gyms are filled, so it's a really great service that WMBS provides. And matter of fact, just for a short period of time, I'll make a real short story of this. We went to church last night, and I wanted to see what Geibel was doing. So we went to eat dinner, pulled it up on my phone, and it was the first time that I've watched it on live stream. And it was just really nice for me to sit there and watch. We were in a restaurant, turned the volume down, and got to watch the Gators win a game last night.
Now, you were watching the Gators during dinner, not during the sermon. Church,
absolutely.
right?
Fortunately, the church was over at 8 o'clock, and we didn't get broadcast until 8 o'clock.
Well, I can tell you one thing for sure. I wouldn't want to be the person answering the telephone at Mama Maruka's Pizza on game night, because I know they always advertise specials and so forth. And I'm sure the kitchens, not only in their restaurant, but in restaurants across town, do better on game nights than they do on most Friday nights. So there's an economic boom that it brings to the area as well. And you think, this is just high school sports. This isn't the Super Bowl. But it does make an economic impact here in the local area.
And like you said at the beginning of the show, Matt, that we can sit here and talk about national government, state government, but what people are really interested in is what's going on in their community. And high school basketball is taking the limelight right now, and it brings the community together. And it's really fun for everyone to have a conversation about high school basketball. And as your show says, commonalities. A lot of people have different opinions, but we all come together, and that brings us all together, which I really enjoy.
Well, we're talking recreation, so that's going to give me a great segue to one of the other topics that I wanted to talk to you about today. I know the City of Uniontown has already connected the Sheepskin Trail, which we're hearing a lot about, to the South Union Township portion of the trail. But you guys are getting ready to connect to the North Union area, or their section of the trail, and that sheepskin's going to run right through Uniontown. So why don't you tell me a little bit about that project and what's going on with kind of a quick update on the Sheepskin Trail?
Sure thing, Matt. It's really exciting for me. When I became mayor, probably a short time into my office, into my term, Township Supervisor Bob Schiffmeyer paid me a visit one day, and it looked pretty easy, like what South Union did, but they didn't go through the center of a city, and I was really not aware of what we needed to do. But we got our team together, and we started planning, which we started from square one and made a few mistakes and a few good moves. But this past summer, we started at at Pennsylvania Avenue, next to Cluss Lumber, and started our trail, and it went behind Bailey Park, and we crossed Dunbar Street, and we ended up at the end of the year. We ended up on Fayette Street. So the trail is complete. I wouldn't say complete, but the walkway is complete. The signage. There's always things to do with the trail that I was not aware of originally, but now as I'm learning, there's more and more to do. But our next goal is, I wanted to say that trail that I described from Pennsylvania Avenue up to Fayette Street, that was all done by the city's workers, and I want to send a big thank you out to John Podolinsky. He headed up that job, and there was a lot of other people that were instrumental in getting that done. So now what our goal is in the springtime, which spring is just around the corner, looks like it's here today, but whatever the case may be, behind the Autoland store that goes from Fayette Street up to Beeson Boulevard, there's no traffic there. We're going to remove the railroad tracks there and pave that area. So then that's a pretty easy job compared to what we have in front of us. Going down the center street of Uniontown, down Beeson Boulevard, down behind Caparella's restaurant, and get to the North Union Township border. There's a lot of things that need to be ironed out. We're working on that. The commissioners, all three of the commissioners, have been very instrumental, very helpful in getting us some grants and trying to plan this out. So we're looking forward to getting that section behind Autoland completed in a month or two, so we can see a little more done. Then we go into Beeson Boulevard, and that's going to be a little more problematic, but we have a plan there. And then get behind Caparella's, which again, the areas that people aren't traveling with a car is a little easier than going through the center of Uniontown. But we're working on it, and it is exciting.
Well, it definitely is, and that's another economic driver that we see for the community. We've seen what trails have done for the Great Allegheny Passage, and in my youth, before I had a fake hip, I rode on a bicycle from Cumberland, Maryland to Washington, D.C. That's a great trail. They've now connected from Pittsburgh to Cumberland, Maryland. I've never had the opportunity to ride that portion of the trail, but I know that that you have businesses that spring up that take care of that tourism that's coming through your area, and I think that'll be a great thing for our local community. We have to get our first break in here today, so stay with us, and we'll be right back here on Commonalities.
You're listening to Commonalities, where guests find common ground through uncommon conversations. We'll be back after this brief break to recognize our sponsors.
Are you enjoying the program you're listening to? Support Commonalities and help keep us on the air by making a donation of $5, $10, or $25, or any amount you feel comfortable sharing online at donate.commonalities.online. Again, that is donate.commonalities.online on the World Wide Web. Buy our host a cup of coffee or help pay for airtime at donate.commonalities.online.
Hello, Uniontown. Mayor Bill Gerke here. There's nothing quite like the feeling of home, that sense of belonging, those fall Friday nights under the lights, those winter nights in the gym watching our Red Raiders, those refreshing spring afternoons at Bailey Park rooting on our Red Raider softball and baseball teams. I am grateful for those memories and hope our community's children and grandchildren can enjoy those memories too. But to do that, we have to plan for the future. During my first term in office, the city has got Bailey Park back to a place where we can be proud of. Begun our city's first comprehensive plan in over 20 years. Started work on the city's section of the Sheepskin Trail. Worked on eliminating blighted properties and are rebuilding the city's neighborhoods. We've updated the faulty equipment in the parking garages, and we're bringing a more competitive, reliable, faster, and less expensive internet service to our city residents. We have done a lot, but there's still more to do. So I, Bill Gerke, am running for a second term. We're Uniontown proud, we're Uniontown strong, and together we can continue to rebuild Uniontown for the next generation.
Paid for by Mayor Bill Gerke.
I'm Melinda Delarose. As an assistant district attorney, I've protected Fayette County families and fought to uphold our constitutional rights. As a prosecutor and trusted local attorney, I've provided victims of crime with a strong voice and put criminals behind bars. My pledge to you as judge is to follow the law, always maintain the highest ethical standards, and to run a courtroom that's respectful of your time and tax dollars. I'm Melinda Delarose, asking for your vote for judge.
Paid for by friends of Melinda Delarose.
When it comes to buying a home,
What you see isn't exactly what you get. That's why home buyers should call Dave Dowling at Grandview Inspections at 724-208-4108. You'll see colorful flowers, freshly painted walls, granite countertops, gleaming hardwood floors, and other touches. What you can't see is the cracks, ancient plumbing, dangerous wiring, or broken appliances that might be revealed when you hire a home inspector. And when it comes to home inspectors, knowing yours has the qualifications and experience needed should be your number one concern. Dave Dowling with Grandview Inspections is an architectural engineer with over 30 years of commercial construction experience and hundreds of inspections under his belt. A home inspection is an opportunity for you to hire an expert to walk through the home and prepare a report outlining the home's major components, what needs immediate attention, and what will require maintenance after you move in. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so make sure your investment is everything you hoped it to be. Call Dave Dowling at Grandview Inspections at 724-208-4108.
Is your business using analog strategies in a digital marketing world? If so, then contact Matthew or Rebecca Dowling at Coordinated 360 for a professional consultation, where we bring in-depth knowledge and functional expertise with a holistic perspective. Coordinated 360 provides digital marketing, paid ad and media buying services, web design, social media management, video production, and more for businesses, organizations, and political campaigns. With decades of experience, Matt and Becky at Coordinated 360 can help you craft your unique message and share it with the world. For a no-risk media evaluation and recommendations, call 724-320-2212 or visit us online at www.coordinated360.com. Find us also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or email info@coordinated360.com.
You're listening to Commonalities, where guests find common ground through uncommon conversations.
Well, thanks for sticking with us. My guest today is Mayor Bill Gerke, Mayor of the City of Uniontown, and we've been talking actually a lot about high school sports. I'm kind of afraid that Jonathan Guth may come after me for stealing his topic of his show, but we've also been talking a little bit about the Sheepskin Trail and some recreation pieces that are happening in the City of Uniontown. Now, Mayor Gerke, I know there's not a lot to update everyone on right now, but I did want to make note of the fact that you guys are working on a comprehensive plan, and planning is so extremely important for municipalities, because that's where you not only decide what's going to be done in the future, but how you're going to fund things in the future, whether it will be through tax revenue, whether there are grants available to you. So I know you're doing the first comprehensive plan in nearly 20 years, or in 20 years, if I'm correct. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with that comprehensive plan.
Yes, the city, as Matt had said, the city had not had a comprehensive plan update for 20 years. So actually we started from square one. And again, whenever you're starting at square one, you make a lot of mistakes. And when you make mistakes, it takes up time. But after we got our bearings together and found which direction we want to go, we hired Gibson Thomas to head up our comprehensive plan, getting with some of the members of the community to get an idea where we want to go. And without an updated comprehensive plan, it's really hard, if not impossible, to get some of the certain grant fundings that you need to improve our city. And that's one thing that I couldn't understand at one time, that grants are very important to be able to get things done. Just I'll go back to the Sheepskin Trail. You know, the city did provide some of the funding to do some of the Sheepskin Trail, but to do all of the Sheepskin Trail, grants play a major role, if not a complete role in that. So, but back to the comprehensive plan. I'm excited. We've had a couple meetings over talking about the comprehensive plan, getting some people in the community involved. And I think by the end of the year, we're going to be more concrete on what we're doing and make the public much more aware of where we are going, and it'll be an improvement to our city.
And I wanted to pause there and talk just a little bit about grants. In my 6 years in the legislature, I worked with a lot of municipalities that were looking for funding, and you come to a grant maker with what you think is a fantastic project, and it may be a fantastic project. We'll use, just for the sake of an example, the Sheepskin Trail as an example. But many times when you apply for the first grant, one of the things that they're going to want you to do is to get some engineering done and get some drawings in place, because grant makers don't like to go on the mindset that, we got Bobby Joe that works for us and they got it all figured out and they know how they're going to do it. They want to see, concrete architectural drawings on how things are done. So sometimes it may cost a municipality a little bit extra to get that work done through the grant process, but in the long terms, the municipality is better off because a good plan is put in place, good architectural drawings exist, and then you can apply for additional grants to actually do the project. But many times it takes a little longer to get things done than, if we could just send the street department down there with some blacktop and they start rolling with their own knowledge.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that it was hard for me to understand at the beginning. But I agree with Matt, and even we did receive some grant funding for the Sheepskin Trail, but the city, I think, applied once before I became mayor. Then we applied, so the third time. So a lot of times with grant funding, when you first apply, you're not guaranteed that you're going to be awarded that grant. So you learn a little bit about your mistakes and go apply again and go apply again. So again, that takes time. So it's a little frustrating that it takes so long to get this done. And I'll go back to Mr. Schiffmeyer. Whenever he came to see me, it looked pretty easy whenever I first looked at the plans. But as time goes on, there's a lot of moving parts that we have to put them all together to make this project work. But I feel confident that it will come to fruition.
So, we have a couple things that happen when exciting things are happening in a downtown corridor. I know the city of Connellsville has dealt with this to some extent. The city of Uniontown is now dealing with it. We're bringing people to downtown, and downtown Uniontown is not the downtown that it was designed to be in the late 1800s, even in the 1920s, during kind of the renaissance of downtown, because everyone's driving one of these big vehicles, these SUVs or pickup trucks, or, there are no compact cars. Of course, in the 1920s, if you had a car, it wasn't compact either. You had those. But
there weren't not to interrupt you, or there weren't anywhere near as many.
There weren't near as many. So that brings me to kind of my next topic and my next transition. We have what we call the Grand Old Lady of Main Street, the State Theater Center for the Arts, which is just less than a block from City Hall there. Beautiful newer parking garage that was built right behind that building, and on show nights I know it fills up rather quickly. In fact, very funny, Erica Miller from the theater is ringing my cell phone right now, so I'll have to get back to her. But that parking garage had some issues, and some issues that you guys had to figure out, because I've parked there during a show at the theater and then have been stuck, and the firemen have had to come open the gates and let us out. But some of those problems have been addressed. So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, absolutely. Those problems have been addressed. Just to bring people up to speed, our parking garage, the one Matt is speaking of, behind the State Theater, we just paid that off, made the final payment. I can't remember if it was December of last year or January of this year, but we don't have a payment there anymore. But that building's still in good shape, and it can generate us some income. But with the equipment that we had there, it was the same equipment that when it was originally built, and of course that was 15 years ago, 16 years ago. So Mark John had spearheaded a project of getting us parking garage equipment. Up until now, the parking garage was not able to accept credit cards, and sometimes when you put cash in, it wouldn't give you the proper change. So that makes an inconvenience for people. Of course, if you walk across the street to City Hall, if you know to walk across the street to City Hall, the girls there would make that right. But then again, I've talked about time again. People's time is valuable, and you walk over there to a strange place, say, hey, I didn't get my change, or I can't get out. But now we've got equipment in there. It isn't completed yet, but hopefully, and I keep saying this, within a month that you'll be able to use the parking garage, and then we can utilize the 2-hour parking on the streets. We hired a parking enforcement officer, so I always say that parking in downtown Uniontown was the Wild West, but we don't want it to be that way, and we're going to transition into a more organized parking situation in the city. So I'm excited about that. Of course, it's been 3 years. I saw it whenever I came into office, and I see it now, but we're working, and I believe that that'll come again to fruition here real soon.
Well, and parking enforcement is so very important because you have Joyce's Fine Jewelry on that block. You have Neubauer's Flowers that are right there. You have places that are even Maryland's on Main that are bringing people from outside of the Uniontown metro area to shop and to eat and to dine. And so we want to make sure that the parking spots that are available on the streets are available to them. And too many times we see the people that are working in those downtown establishments, parking all day in those spots. And we want to make sure that that's not the case, that you have, parking for your out-of-town visitors. Of course, if you work downtown and you're just stopping for 5 minutes to pick something up, that's one thing. But to park there for a full 8-hour shift takes parking away from a client from out of town that we want to be able to have them spend their money, because we want people to come to Uniontown with pockets full of money and leave Uniontown with empty pockets.
Well, I like that, Matt.
So that's our goal here in downtown Uniontown. Bill, we have another break we have to get to, and then we'll be right back here on Commonalities.
You're listening to Commonalities, where guests find common ground through uncommon conversations. We'll be back after this brief break to recognize our sponsors.
Are you enjoying the program you're listening to? Support Commonalities and help keep us on the air by making a donation of $5, $10, or $25, or any amount you feel comfortable sharing online at donate.commonalities.online. Again, that is donate.commonalities.online on the World Wide Web. Buy our host a cup of coffee or help pay for airtime at donate.commonalities.online.
Hello, Uniontown. Mayor Bill Gerke here. There's nothing quite like the feeling of home, that sense of belonging, those fall Friday nights under the lights, those winter nights in the gym watching our Red Raiders, those refreshing spring afternoons at Bailey Park rooting on our Red Raider softball and baseball teams. I am grateful for those memories and hope our community's children and grandchildren can enjoy those memories too. But to do that, we have to plan for the future. During my first term in office, the city has got Bailey Park back to a place where we can be proud of. Begun our city's first comprehensive plan in over 20 years. Started work on the city's section of the Sheepskin Trail. Worked on eliminating blighted properties and are rebuilding the city's neighborhoods. We've updated the faulty equipment in the parking garages, and we're bringing a more competitive, reliable, faster, and less expensive internet service to our city residents. We've done a lot, but there's still more to do. So I, Bill Gerke, am running for a second term. We're Uniontown proud, we're Uniontown strong, and together we can continue to rebuild Uniontown for the next generation.
Paid for by Mayor Bill Gerke.
When it comes to buying a home, what you see isn't exactly what you get. That's why home buyers should call Dave Dowling at Grandview Inspections at 724-208-4108. You'll see colorful flowers, freshly painted walls, granite countertops, gleaming hardwood floors, and other touches. What you can't see is the cracks, ancient plumbing, dangerous wiring, or broken appliances that might be revealed when you hire a home inspector. And when it comes to home inspectors, knowing yours has the qualifications and experience needed should be your number one concern. Dave Dowling with Grandview Inspections is an architectural engineer with over 30 years of commercial construction experience and hundreds of inspections under his belt. A home inspection is an opportunity for you to hire an expert to walk through the home and prepare a report outlining the home's major components, what needs immediate attention, and what will require maintenance after you move in. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so make sure your investment is everything you hoped it to be. Call Dave Dowling at Grandview Inspections at 724-208-4108.
I'm Melinda Delarose. As an assistant district attorney, I've protected Fayette County families and fought to uphold our constitutional rights. As a prosecutor and trusted local attorney, I've provided victims of crime with a strong voice and put criminals behind bars. My pledge to you as judge is to follow the law, always maintain the highest ethical standards, and to run a courtroom that's respectful of your time and tax dollars. I'm Melinda Delarose, asking for your vote for judge.
Paid for by friends of Melinda Delarose.
Is your business using analog strategies in a digital marketing world? If so, then contact Matthew or Rebecca Dowling at Coordinated 360 for a professional consultation, where we bring in-depth knowledge and functional expertise with a holistic perspective. Coordinated 360 provides digital marketing, paid ad and media buying services, web design, social media management, video production, and more for businesses, organizations, and political campaigns. With decades of experience, Matt and Becky at Coordinated 360 can help you craft your unique message and share it with the world. For a no-risk media evaluation and recommendations, call 724-320-2212 or visit us online at www.coordinated360.com. Find us also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or email info@coordinated360.com.
You're listening to Commonalities, where guests find common ground through uncommon conversations.
Well, thanks for sticking with us. My guest today is Mayor Bill Gerke, and we're talking all things City of Uniontown. We've already covered the Sheepskin Trail and the economic boom that has the potential to bring to downtown Uniontown. We talked about people from outside of Uniontown coming downtown to shop and dine and to have a nice night out, and the fact that we have the parking garages, if they're not yet, very soon will be in tip-top shape. But, you know, one of the things that Uniontown has been known for many years outside of our local area is the street festivals that have happened in downtown Uniontown. You know, upwards of 20 to 30,000 people that have attended annual Italian festivals and so forth. There was a period of time when Terry Cellurell was doing those. Unfortunately, Terry is passed on and is no longer with us. But I hear some exciting news, Mayor Gerke, that the Italian festival, or perhaps we'll call it an ethnic festival, will be coming back to the streets of downtown Uniontown with that ambience and atmosphere, and of course, some of that great food. I don't know if you like the Giuseppe sandwich, but I know that's a top seller there. So tell me a little bit about what's on the drawing board for the Italian Festival in Uniontown this summer?
Good. Thank you, Matt. Around the first of the year, Ron Romeo, Jim Santilli, Rick Ezzi, and the group from the Sons of Italy contacted Mark, John, and myself about seeing what interest, if we had any interest of working with the Sons of Italy and bringing the Italian Festival back to Uniontown. You know, when COVID came, it kind of changed the way our lives were lived, and that's something that went by the wayside. And there's a lot of work to putting an Italian festival on. So Mark, John Mookie, and I went out to visit with the gentleman out at the Sons of Italy and got into discussions of how would do this, who would run it, and we've finally come to the decision that the Sons of Italy, they know how to run this festival, and we have the venue. So the particulars will come out a little bit later, but basically what I'm saying is that we've worked in conjunction with the Sons of Italy, with the City of Uniontown. Our police department is on board, our street department's on board, and that's something I'd like to send a shout out to our fire, police, and street departments. Whenever Mook and I come up with an idea, they back us 100%, and we've got I know we have a really good partner in the Sons of Italy, and they plan on having the Italian Festival the weekend of August 12th and August 13th, and they're just starting their marketing plans, so there's a lot more to come along, but I'm excited, and everyone in the city are very excited about the Italian Festival or Ethnic Festival, whatever they may call it, coming back to the City of Uniontown. And we get to showcase our city with a good group of people promoting it.
Absolutely. And I know people come all the way from Moundsville, West Virginia, from Morgantown, West Virginia, and they come here just to enjoy that ethnic food. You know, one of the things that amazes me about southwestern Pennsylvania is it doesn't matter if you are Polish, if you're Slovak, if you're Irish, if you're Italian. You know, we really are a melting pot for all of those ethnicities, and we're so lucky because we have those all of those food items from those different backgrounds that are available at our local eateries here right in downtown. You know, I got to plug my friends at World Importing. I was really sad to see that that after years and years it was being sold, and the Romeo family would no longer own it, or actually they were looking for a buyer for a while. Now they found a buyer in Piccolomini's, and you can go in there any day of the week and get your Italian foods and cuisine right in downtown Uniontown. Not to mention, you know, during Lent we have some Lenten specials at places like DeMarco's and Riz's and even Maloney's and Titlow's. So great eateries in downtown Uniontown, and I'm really excited for this festival which will be going on. We got to get our last break of the day in, and we will come back with final thoughts here on Commonality.
You're listening to Commonalities, where guests find common ground through uncommon conversations. We'll be back after this brief break to recognize our sponsors.
Are you enjoying the program you're listening to? Support Commonalities and help keep us on the air by making a donation of $5, $10, or $25, or any amount you feel comfortable sharing online at donate.commonalities.online. Again, that is donate.commonalities.online on the World Wide Web. Buy our host a cup of coffee or help pay for airtime at donate.commonalities.online.
I'm Melinda Delarose. As an assistant district attorney, I've protected Fayette County families and fought to uphold our constitutional rights. As a prosecutor and trusted local attorney, I've provided victims of crime with a strong voice and put criminals behind bars. My pledge to you as judge is to follow the law, always maintain the highest ethical standards, and to run a courtroom that's respectful of your time and tax dollars. I'm Melinda Delarose, asking for your vote for judge.
Paid for by friends of Melinda Delarose.
You're listening to Commonalities, where guests find common ground through uncommon conversations.
Well, thanks for sticking with us. My guest today has been Mayor Bill Gerke, and we're going to go to final thoughts here in just a moment. But I was really excited about today's show because a lot of times we talk about politics, we talk about what's happening at the state level, at the federal level, and I'm very blessed to have some connections into some of those groups of people, and like to bring statewide newsmakers here to WMBS to be able to talk to us here in Fayette County directly. But as I said at the top of the show, you know, the government layer that is closest to you is normally your municipal government, and that's why it's been exciting to talk all things City of Uniontown today. Mayor, I wanted to turn it over to you to let you give any final thoughts as well as any contact information. If someone needs to get a hold of City Hall, how can they go about doing that? If they are interested in getting involved with the Sons of Italy's Italian Festival that we've promoted on the show today, how can people go about doing that, and what are kind of your final thoughts for the day?
Well, thanks, Matt. Jim Santilli is, and I don't have that information in front of me, but you could call City Hall, excuse me. You can call City Hall, and I'm sure they can get you in touch with Mr. Santilli. There was a couple other thoughts that I had. You know, we're excited about the Italian Festival. One thing I wanted to bring up, we're having a citywide cleanup day on April 22nd, and we go around and clean up the alleys and the streets. It's not a clean out your garage day, but it's to make our city look more beautiful. And we plan it. That's a Saturday between 8:30 in the morning and noon. That would gather down at the empty lot across from the Galton Gardens on Gallatin Avenue, and would go out throughout the city and have areas that we clean up. And that's something that we've done even through COVID and long before I became mayor. It's been something that the city has done, and the girls at City Hall are putting that together, and we're very blessed to have a good staff in the mayor's office. And there'll be more information. Matter of fact, there'll be some flyers sent out about the cleanup day on April 22nd.
Well, thanks, Mayor, for being with us and for sharing your thoughts and everything that we talked about Uniontown today. So very important. One thing I'd remind anyone who's listening, if you want to see Uniontown become a bigger and better city, it takes your effort. So get involved, and thank you for listening to today's episode of Commonalities.
This has been Commonalities, a show where guests find common ground through uncommon conversations. Copyright 2022 Coordinated 360. All public rebroadcasts should be done with prior written approval from Matthew Dowling. All requests should be sent to info@coordinated360.com. Thank you for listening to Commonalities.